So, Chuckles over here is giggling because yet again, somehow it's my YouTube channel and John's the one who gets sponsored. Don't really understand how that works, but whatever. AliExpress has been expanding into the US market, and they now are having depots where they ship from in the United States. And the cool thing is they've changed their website both on the app and online so that you can literally search and then sort everything by shipped from the United States, which means you order your $49 engine and it shows up in 2 days, just like its competitors. And the same $49 engine kit on AliExpress is $88 right now on Amazon. So you save money and you get free shipping. So that's pretty cool. And John has always been obsessed with the internet's chainsaw engine in a bicycle idea, which I have always said is stupid because, well, I did it, so therefore I know it's stupid. When I was about John's age, I stuffed an old McCulloch chainsaw into a bicycle, welded it haphazardly into place, and then proceeded to burn the clutch out instantly. So here's the difference between this little 49cc and your average chainsaw. Your average chainsaw has a clutch about about 1.5 inches, 2 inches across. These have a multi-pack clutch that goes into a drum that is a solid 4 inches or so across without any issue. So same size engine as a chainsaw, basically, but with a clutch that is far more suited. The one problem with ordering these kits is that the gear that comes off of that is not the same as the bike. So we did have to order up this, which comes in as a 54 tooth. It's like a weird 28 something chain. So I had to order this. It was horrifyingly expensive at $3. Free shipping, AliExpress. I'm okay with it. Clutch with this and extra chain. Grand total, I think it was something like, it was like $12. I'll post a link down below for everything we use in the video. So this needs to somehow riggedly go there. The engine needs to somehow go right about here, except for nobody sells an engine plate kit for it, and it has this underside exhaust thing going on, so we've got to figure that out. As promised, I have revived the Patreon page, and as we make templates for 3D printing templates and for laser cut files that you can send to places like SendCutSend, we will have these available. I wrote bottom on it. I probably should put it with the bottom down. So that is going to go there, and the problem is we have to have space to clear the carburetor, and then the exhaust comes out right here. Yeah. So somehow, if I flip this over, I also made it so that this line here, when it's lined up with the bolts, is in the same plane as this. So when you're lining this plate up after you've got it laser cut and you flip it over, you should be able to figure out where you want it and then line that up with the gear you're going to weld onto there, and it should work. That's the theory anyway. I don't know. How much do you trust my theoretical CAD ideas?
Not that much.
Not that much? You're a turd. Maybe that's why you look like Mr. Clean. You're now all plumber capable. Anyways. Alright, let's get started. First things first, we're slicing that off, slicing that bar off. And this is a prime candidate, I'm telling you. We got roach tire. The bearings in this have so much play, it's insane. We got no brakes once we cut that off, but we have hole to be able to mount brakes if the tire lined up with it. This is a perfect candidate for making go faster. I'm not sure. Safety fifth. And here we see the YouTuber John's ideas in the wild, in his natural environment of pretending to create a video to post, but yet not doing so. Alright, back to here. We have made a T that goes through the original kickstand hole so that this thing will stay up, because once we put the engine up here, it's going to be top heavy. We found a plate of steel that ironically has bars coming out that I was debating anyway. What I was actually debating was cutting out this plate to mount the engine and then making some bars that came out. And that way I could tee off to that spot right there. So this just happens to have them integrated out of the scrap pile. So I like that idea. John's working on the throttle assembly, which is about as feather light plasticky as you can possibly get. Also, we noticed that they're a little on the small hand side, even by John's standards. That's the one that came in the kit versus what was on the bike already. The rotating assembly fits, but the handle doesn't fit over in order to clamp on. So he's going to go work on dremeling that just a tiny bit. I, on the other hand, have made my 3D spacers. And as you can see, we've got the assembly there. We've got a washer behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack weld through each one of these in order to center it on that washer. Then I'm going to fish this piece of plastic out of here, and then I'm going to finish weld the inside. It will never, ever, ever come back off, and I'm okay with that. John is currently working on the engine plate mount that, even with a perfectly printed template, somehow managed to drill one of the holes a 1/4 inch off. I don't know how you do that. On the other hand, I am fighting with this contraption of a throttle. I don't know whether this was wrong or whether this wire was too thick, but I had to go down through with my jackknife and take a sliver out of that entire inside edge. But now it seems to work. This has to be put together in some awful form, so you have to put that in, then put this over that, while putting this over the top of this to slide onto there to fold over the top in order to put the screw in. I hope you followed all of that, because I'm not demonstrating because it sucks. Halloween's over.
What?
No, it's good that you have your mask on. I'm proud of you. Engine plate is on, and just because I know I'm going to get asked, where did I get the bolts? The answer is a dead generator. They're the same size that's in the side covers for like GX200s, GX390s, Predator 212s. Do you get the idea? They're out of a junkyard. Feeling a little more confident that this might work out now. I think we've got everything pretty well squared in and sorted. I've got to weld up and then put some bracing in. My big thing is moving the engine side to side is easy. All I gotta do is just wallow the holes out with a burr bit, and that's the simple part. It's getting it square to the gear down there that is the hard part right now. So that's going to get welded in. I planned ahead on the exhaust. I'm going to blow a hole there so that I can pipe the exhaust down through. Probably just dump it, maybe using a piece of diesel heater exhaust in order to be able to bend it and then tie it right directly so it dumps straight down. Not sure. That's a future Neil problem. While we're on the exhaust and the engine mount, I uploaded this as a solid plate to Send Cut Send along with this. If I was to order these, it would basically be about $14. And if I was ordering about 4 of these, they would be $5 a piece. And 4 of these, they would be down to like $3 a piece. So if you're going to do a group of these, you really could knock it down severely in price. The other thing I know somebody's going to say, because it's the first thing I thought of, was a Predator or a GX200 exhaust flange. And as you can see, it is not even remotely close. It is giant compared to this. But what I did notice was that with a burr bit or a plasma cutter, depending on how impatient you are, probably will work. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Maybe a piece of EMT conduit crushed in order to be able to haphazardly weld onto there. I mean, let's be honest. It's 49 cc's. We're not looking for RPM records here. We're just looking for puttering down the driveway. I'm not sure how, but somehow John has never installed master links and has no idea. So we're going to cover that in this video right now. So what you do is you grab your chain and you cut it so that you can match it up on the top of a gear and have it come around like that with 2 hollows. Then you've got your master link that installs from behind. You've got your washer, spacer, whatever you want to call it, that goes on. And then the real trick, and what decides whether you end up in a hospital or riding and enjoying yourself, is this end of the clip always points in the rotation of the chain. That way, if anything ever hits it, it just makes it tighter, because if it hits that side, it pops it off, and then you lose your chain at 50 miles per hour of stupid.
We're going 50?
Not on this, but you get the point. So, we're going to let John monkey with trying to get that on there, but that's your learning point. So, if we pedal this direction, then that means the clip needs to point that direction as far as the tip is concerned. Cap first, spring second, put that in through the notch there. You've got your needle with the top. That's going to go in through, and we're going to try to do this on film, except for I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, there it goes. So the needle goes in, then you lift your spring up and over with the cable going into that notch, and then let go. Now when you look into your carb, you're going to see a stud that comes out that lines up with this. So you drop that in and then screw it down. I'll post a link in the description to buy one of these cool little mixers. You guys recommended this kind of style, and I really like it. It's pretty simple. Basically, you fill it up until you can see the gas fills right to the top of this, which matches this line. And then you just dump in your mix until you hit where it is that you want. So this takes 25 to 1, and then you shake it up and pour it in your gas tank. Current temperature is like 45 degrees. It is way too cold for this poor little engine, but we're gonna try it. We got choke on, got gas. This is all temporarily rigged up. We don't even have an exhaust, but we want to hear it. I think what we have here is a case of too much horsepower and torque. But seriously, either we just blew that chain or that chain was defective. Right there, just the first fire up test. I get asked all the time why my grinder is at kind of a weird height. It's because when you got something like this that you need two hands, I can actually run the bar using my knee. Get it set, and then tighten it just a little bit more. I tried to find an actual roller like we use on the mini bikes for drag racing, but instead we've got a flat pulley off of a Craftsman lawn tractor here. I cut a slit 3/8 in there so that I could slide it in to act as a tensioner on this. This is going to be our last try to see if we can get this up and running. After that, we might end up stashing this and coming back to it. We're cold. We want to get the mud mower done.
Yeah.
I tightened the tensioner just as tight as I dare to go. John's gonna see if he can burp it and actually take off without jumping it. Go ahead. Nope. All right, kill it. Well, guys, I think this is a fail, kind of. I think part of the problem is that the bearings here are so shot that every time you tighten this, you can actually see the chain on this side shift and loosen and tighten. I think we're just dealing with something that's, you know, too far gone. The other problem is this was meant to go directly back to the rear tire so that all your pull was this direction. So because we're going this way, it's tweaking and torquing everything. I don't know if this is rotatable. So we might play around with the idea of seeing if we can drop this down and then go to the gear. I don't know. I think it was a good $50 experiment. It was nice that it's shipped from the US, AliExpress, and it costs like $30 to $35 less to go through AliExpress than it did through Amazon. So that's cool. I don't know. We'll revisit this idea. I think we need to try 90-degreeing the gearbox and a couple other things.
And probably a better seat.
There's nothing wrong with the seat, it's the rider.
And probably feet pegs.
You totally missed that burn, didn't you?
No. No.
You've been burned so much, your hair's gone. All right, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.